Here's my Bronze Star with Valor. It's something that every day I look at.
The truck gets hit. It's a total fucking disaster.
I'm like, fuck, we need to get these guys out.
Barbecue definitely saved him.
Yeah, I'll just show everybody.
And he's already a Texas Monthly Top 50 barbecue joint. I had the first bite, I was like, oh man, this is amazing.
What a great idea. And you claim this is gonna surprise me even more.
It is.
You're talking about this more publicly than you have before.
Mm-hmm.
Why now?
I'm just a West Texas boy. Rossler's Blue Cord Barbecue stands for the Infantry Blue Cord.
I get super emotional talking about what our name represents.
It's for our family, it's for my military lineage, and that's who I am.
I'm here in Toledo, Texas, at an American Legion car show in the food truck of Rossler's Blue Cord Barbecue with Stephen Rossler and his family, where they'll be serving all of these veterans. But this didn't start today. It started yesterday morning, very early, where we cooked all the food for today's service and where Stephen and his family shared their story. It hasn't been a straight route. It hasn't been an easy route, but it's one that has a happy ending. Stick around, I think you're gonna enjoy the show.
What's up, buddy? How you doing today?
Let's get this shit started.
Yeah, let's get this shit started. Good morning. So, first of all, welcome to my home.
Thank you.
We're in the middle of going from one small commercial kitchen to a bigger one. We're gonna get this fire going in this Moberg 500. This is our original big smoker. So lay some lump coal down. Gonna get it going with some little tumbleweeds. I had a piece of post oak that was in there.
So nice, slow, zen fire.
Yeah. I like wood that has some bark on it that's gonna get that smokiness going. As you can tell, we all can stand a little bit of fire on our hand.
You ever just light a fire in the firebox and sit out here and stare at it?
I do. I sit out here, I talk to God, and I talk to my dad a lot.
Yeah.
My late father. And, you know, that's really why I do barbecue, is fond memories that we have of learning how to cook, you know? And that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
You ready
All
to
right.
make some brisket rub?
Let's make some rub.
Let's do it. I'm just a West Texas boy that was brought into this world by a 16-year-old mother. So yeah, my brother and I were both adopted, but my dad was really hard on me. He saw that I had a rebel soul because my dad had a rebel soul. My dad was the type that, you know, black leather jacket, rode motorcycles. And my mom is about as sweet as they come. You know, it's opposites do attract, I would say. But I never felt like I was adopted. They made me like I was their kid.
Stephen was a rambunctious kid. He was always doing daredevil things that I tell everyone I earned all this gray hair, honestly. He and his dad loved hunting, fishing, camping. They did it all. So, and when he got in high school, he loved sports. He never met a stranger. He was friends with everybody.
Did he get in a lot of trouble in high school?
Well, the principal and I were on speaking terms, let's put it that way.
I fought a lot with my dad. I have my dad's full name, but I always fought that. And I regret it now that my dad's gone because I'm so proud to have his name. I'm so proud to be Stephen Wayne Rossler Jr.
So let's talk about joining the military. Tell me about that decision. What made you decide to pursue it?
My parents were like, it's time to, you know, basically shit or get off the pot.
He went to the local community college and basically didn't complete any of the courses because he was having too much fun. Steve, his dad, and I sat down and said, you've got to do something. That's when he chose the Army. We never expected him to do 20 years in the Army. We were thinking like a cook. That was something he could have a skill when he got out of the Army.
I went in and talked to recruiters and I said, well, I want to be a cook. Like, I like to cook. I like to barbecue with my dad. That sounds like something I really like to do. And they're like, yeah, that would work out. You know, your line scores are definitely high enough for that, but why don't you go to Hawaii and be a grunt? I was like, man, I don't know what a grunt means, but I want to live in Hawaii.
Did it worry you when he decided to become an infantryman?
No, because it fit his personality.
And so that is the start of my military career, and they got me. For the briskets that we're gonna have 3 that we're gonna put on right now. I'm gonna use 2 delis full up with pepper, and then I've got a line marked kind of, you know, where the salt, and then I kind of just eyeball it with the garlic.
So very pepper heavy.
Yeah, very pepper heavy. You know, me growing up on that, that's
Right.
how I've always liked to. And my dad liked pepper. But yeah, just 2 cups, just like that.
Okay.
Different strokes for different folks, but this has always worked for me.
If it works, it works.
Yeah, you don't have to add cayenne and all that. But yeah, just that'll be 1 for us.
Okay.
And I'll do 2 of those. Now we got some garlic. I'm gonna do about 1/4, maybe a little bit over. My line's kind of jacked, but maybe it's half.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right.
There's nothing like
Just
fresh
one of
garlic.
those?
Just 1 of those.
Okay.
And go ahead and shake it up
There
like
you
in
go.
a frying pan. There you
That's
go.
right. We got a tub. We can do it this way, right?
I like that. Those DripEZ tubs are cool.
All right. Looks like a brisket rub.
Yeah, it's too easy. I remember going to basic training, and all these drill sergeants, they call it a shark attack, and they're sitting there yelling and screaming, and they're breaking you down, right? And I was just like, this is it? Like, this isn't rough, like, you know. And I weighed 148 going in, weighed 185 because I finally hit my growth spurt. But the mental aspect broke me down from being a civilian to being a leader and a soldier. That's when my patriotism really got big, because it's like, oh, this is a bigger picture. If something were to happen, I'm gung ho. Like, this is my identity now. Like, I'm an infantryman. And then we just so happened got to do a rotation in Australia. And when we were in Australia, when September 11th happened, that's when my patriotism really got huge.
Tell me about that day.
There was this little bitty old black and white TV that they had, and we were all watching, you know, the airplanes flying into Twin Towers. And I just remember thinking, like, our life has changed. Like, we're getting ready, and all of us were like, we're getting ready to see some stuff. Like, we're getting ready to go to combat. And then you have all these Australians that are driving by, and they could tell obviously we're Americans, and they're like shouting USA and like, go get them, boys. And it was pretty like powerful. It was really, really powerful. Your whole being was all about America, was all about that American pride, about infantry, and just being proud to be a soldier.
Remember the first time bullets flew in your direction?
Yeah, my soul left my body. It was rough. Well, the first deployment was Iraq. It was 03, 04. That was the 4th Infantry Division. It was wild. It was the wild, wild west. Once they started moving us forward to where we were going to be dropped off to our unit, well, it just so happened we got freaking ambushed on the way up to going where we were, and I was able to shoot back. I mean, you're talking 10, 15 minutes into, you know, headed up to where we needed to go, to a 4-hour drive. I mean, wow.
You remember the first life you took?
That was it.
That was it that day?
Yeah, that was it that day. And I'll never forget it. I'll never forget pulling that trigger. The very first bullet, soul left my body because I knew it was going to hit.
Did you feel okay about it being a bad guy?
I did.
Or was it just too heavy?
Nah, I felt good about it. But also later on, when you have time to digest it, it sucks because you took somebody's life, you know? And I'm not proud of that. You know, my nephew would ask, hey, Uncle Steve, did you ever take a life? And like, man, I really don't want to talk about that, you know? But I feel like now is a great time to talk about it with you, somebody that, you know, but like to tell a young kid that, it's not cool. It's not, you know, it's not good to boast that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. We were up near the Iranian border in Jalula, Sadia. Every day was something freaking new. We were either getting RPG, mortar fire, whenever we went outside the base. So there was a lot of not only growing up to do, not only leadership and what have you, but I'm talking about young kids having to kill people at like take that in for just a little bit. Like, we were messed up, and a lot of us are still messed up at an early age, but you're having to be normal when you're killing people. It takes a big toll on you. You know, I mean, people digging on the side of the road. Hey, shoot. Oh, wait, that kid has an RPG, or that kid has an AK-47. Boom. You know, it takes a toll on you.
It was scary. There's too much news about all that stuff, and it just made us worried all the time.
How'd you cope with that?
A lot of prayer, a lot of crying. I just had faith that he'd come home.
So you're 22 years old at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Lot to take in. How are you different the next day when you wake up?
This is a weird analogy, but I'm just being real. It's like when you lose your virginity. You're like different, right?
No going back.
There's no going back. There's like, you're not pure anymore. Like, I wasn't pure anymore. And that's what I had a problem with. And now you're like kind of questioning, am I gonna get to go to heaven? I got a surprise for you. Your own brisket trimming knife. This is what I use for trimming a roast slicer, non-serrated.
I've never learned to do it with a full slicer.
Really?
I do it with a scimitar now.
Oh, I love it. We got some McLaren Farm briskets.
That's exciting. Now we're doing big boys.
Yep.
$4.66, price is coming down a little bit.
Yeah, I know, right? I wish that's what I paid on the regular, but we're still at almost $6, so.
Yeah.
I always start meat side up with that decal right there. Because I'm right-handed, I'll start on the right-hand side and then go towards my left. With these knives, you really don't have to do a whole lot because you're just gonna let them, you just kind of guide it with your hand, just a little bit of, little, not much. But yeah, so just come in, just like that. I'm gonna get a lot of this silver skin, which this is what I like about these. When I'm going through and trimming, I'm slightly having the blade slightly up a little bit so that it's not digging into the meat.
Right.
A little bit
It's
different.
a little awkward, but.
Yeah, it is until you.
But I'm getting a nice, even shape. I feel pretty good about that.
Right. You know, I'm gonna get some of this stuff, but you know, all of that's gonna burn off. Now we'll just flip it over. And now we've got the mohawk. Personally, I just whack it off and.
So the whole mohawk?
Yeah, whole mohawk. I'll come in, 45-degree angle. Make it look pretty. It's easy. And then you're gonna wanna finish right there, so yeah.
So take this.
Yeah, just to make it look more aerodynamic. Yep, right there, perfect. On the lean side, they're both very minimal fat. My suggestion, just come in right here, and then we'll eventually do that.
All right, so do it in two cuts, one this way, and then we'll round it?
And then we'll round it.
Okay. All right, that's a respectable
exactly.
shape.
Yeah,
All
a respectable shape. That right there is textbook. Yours, I would definitely round that off a little bit. Yeah, because you know that muscle, it cooks so weird, and then when you're making your slices, it just tears off. I want to round all this because I want all of this to protect that outer side of the brisket.
Okay.
You can come down this way and just keep filling, and as you get closer to that meat, it's going to be a lot softer.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh no! Oh no! Guess what?
I'm fired.
It's gonna make the brisket taste like crap. Nah, it's like whatever, man.
All right.
Barbecue doesn't need to be all that serious.
All right.
I mean, it does, but you know what I mean. It doesn't need to be.
So I'm gonna round this a little bit more now that I've got
for sure.
The rest.
I love it. Good shape, all right in through here. Just that little bit.
Just a little bit more round.
I think that's good enough. That's good enough for government work, as we say.
Quick, how many beers does it take you to smoke a 15-pound prime brisket at 250 degrees? Well, for me, it's a couple. Okay, maybe a few. And tomorrow, I've got a yard full of people coming over to eat this thing. And I want to enjoy myself too, so I need to be on my game. That's why I want to tell you about something I've started doing on cook nights. It's called pre-alcohol from today's sponsor, Zbiotics. And the science behind it is actually pretty cool. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut called acetaldehyde. It's a buildup of this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for rough days after drinking, even after a responsible night with only a few drinks. So Zbiotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic Drink is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. Pre-alcohol actually produces an enzyme to break acetaldehyde down. Smart approach, right? So just remember to make pre-alcohol your first drink of the night, then drink responsibly, hydrate well, and you'll be ready to entertain tomorrow, just like me. Now, one more thing. Of course, my viewers get a discount on pre-alcohol. Just go to zbiotics.com/behindthefood to learn more and get 15% off your first order when you use Behind the Food at checkout. Zbiotics is backed with a 100% money-back guarantee, so if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember to head to zbiotics.com/behindthefood and use the coupon code BEHINDTHEFOOD at checkout for 15% off.
So you get called back over, this time to Afghanistan.
2011, that's when I started to train up for a brand new brigade. So I'm getting to know every single soldier that I know eventually we're going to deploy with.
I was put in charge of 2nd Platoon, and he was my weapons squad leader. So being a new guy, right? Like, I was 24. You know, having a strong relationship is paramount, right? Like, these guys have all been to at least Iraq or Afghanistan once or twice. You're in charge, but like, you want them to want to follow you. So you owe them the best you've got.
These are guys that, like, you know, I knew their kids' names. I knew, you know, these are all things that you know what I mean? You know what makes them tick. And you're just their brotherhood, you know?
We're all cocky young males, right? Like, we all think we're really good at what we do and we're invincible.
We're in Wardak. Wardak was one of the worst possible spots to be in Afghanistan. PKM, RPG fire, anything and everything that they could possibly shoot at us. We were fighting every day. We were just so happened to be the Punishers. That was our platoon. We spray painted Punisher skulls over everything. They always knew when we were rolling out the gate. You know, we brought the fight to them. My adrenaline specifically was really high because, I mean, we were the lead vehicle. We could be hit anytime, you know, and it happened several times where an IED was set off late and like the ass-in of our vehicle got hit and like my head hits the ceiling, and later on I have to get surgery for, you know, have to have my back fused together because of that, you know what I mean? So
all of that doesn't scare you? All of that doesn't slow you down?
nothing.
He exuded confidence. There wasn't any like timidness or fear. I'm sure it was there. It was there with all of us. You're a human. But I remember there was a gunfight we got in. I remember one of the guys saying, it's like, Sergeant Rossler, you're going to get shot. And he's walking around in this gunfight, like telling them what to do. And there's bullets going back and forth. And he's just like, hey, go here, do this, do that. You know, and, you know, is engaging. And that's how he was in those situations, right? Like, very professional.
So we're just gonna fill a tub, brisket goes in the tub and go?
That's exactly. I'll usually start fat side down, just push it down, and then I use my hand and just get around the edges.
So we're going for 100% coverage here.
100% coverage. And then you can just flip it over, see how your top side's looking. Oh yeah, money.
And then do I shake it off?
Yeah, I'll just lift it up, make sure everything's on there.
And then just Taylor Swift it?
Shake it off.
All right.
I'm glad that we both have daughters that are that listen to Taylor Swift, that we both understood what that meant.
Yes. So you don't use a binder, you're not spritzing water, you're just letting...
Because every time I trim, it's usually right out of the package, so you still have that residual moisture there.
All right, got a couple briskets?
Yeah, so let's put them on. Point towards the fire, just like that. Yeah, perfect.
Seasoned, you can't even tell that mine's almost as good as yours.
Exactly. Let's let them rip.
All right, let's go make some coffee.
Let's go make some coffee. December 3rd happened, then things got different.
You ready to go there?
Yeah. December 3rd, 2011. Normal day, beautiful outside. everybody's in a chipper mood. We're happy, had breakfast. They're gonna be coming through with all kinds of, you know, munitions, fuel, food, everything, right? All these vehicles waiting on us to clear this route. Shit, we get out there, we're out there for maybe 30 minutes. Boom, IED. They're like, hey, we got an IED. So we have EOD with us.
Army's equivalent of the bomb squad.
Yeah, they take out the bomb, you know, the IED, whatever. And we're like, all right, cool. EOD goes back, we're going forward. Hey, there's another ID. Okay, cool. Let's get EOD, bring them back out. My platoon sergeant First Class Clark Corley, he had 2 of my soldiers. Ryan Lumley, he was his driver, and Thomas Mayberry was his gunner. We go down, we take out this IED, and we flip back around. It was like, all right, time to take EOD back to the base. We are a mile away from base. Half of the mile is us looking down. You could see where the IED went off. December 3rd. Boom. 27's been hit. 27's been hit. And I look over at my driver and I'm like, what? They're like, 27's been hit. IED. 27's been hit. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, get there fucking now.
The engineers had driven over it, and we had driven over it twice prior to them blowing it up, right? So, and we didn't know it was there. The truck gets hit. It's a total fucking disaster. Like, I remember getting to it. Like, they set up security. I could tell that the driver was dead right there. Rossler being, like, they went in. That thing was on fire. They did everything they could to get them out, but these trucks are full of explosives, right? All of our equipment's in there, all of our ammo's in there. Like, it had ruptured the fuel line, so it was just constantly feeding fuel into it.
So imagine, 4 or 5 ton vehicle just turned over on its side. Mayberry, my guy, he was laying outside the gunner hatch, but he was like halfway in, halfway out. I'm like, fuck, dude, fucking Mayberry's gone. Like, I'm thinking, like, Mayberry's gone. But like, I was like, hey, somebody check his pulse, get going.
The way they had to go in was through the gunner's hatch in the top of the truck. So he's having to take off the majority of his equipment, and you can't breathe because it's this black smoke billowing up out of it, right? Probably, I think he might have been puking, and then they try and go back. He tries to go back in.
Acosta, he's 6'2", 6'3", probably 280 pounds. He's paralyzed from the neck down. And I'm like, fuck, Doc, are you good? Yes, Sergeant Rossler, get me out of here. And mind you, we're having to pull him out of this hole. Like, the thing is just like busted up. So we get him out. He's got all of his body armor.
You have the soldiers around you that they're looking at all of us like, what do we do? And what you cannot do is freak out. So, and he personified that in that time. He just kept going in.
And they had already started loading up a tow strap. And we were able to pull that truck up. When that happened, the freaking flames just started engulfing. I'm like, fuck, we need to get these guys out. We're jumping in the vehicle. Mind you, ammunition's going off, mortar rounds are going off. We're getting small arms fire. All kinds of shit's going on.
Eventually, the truck became so inflamed that, like, you couldn't go in, right? Like, you just couldn't.
And I give Sergeant Corley his last breath. I was like, dude, I'm gonna be right back, Sergeant Corley. Fucking hang on. We couldn't get to him, and just basically watch him burn to death.
How many guys did you lose?
We lost 3 that day. It was Mayberry, Lumley, and Sergeant Corley. Because Acosta ended up passing March 5th from his injuries, from him being paralyzed. Yeah. And I just remember thinking like, what the hell? Like, this is real life. This is real life. And like, we pulled them out. They put them in a body bag, and then we draped the flag over. We load them in the back of my truck, and it was pure silence. And we had we unloaded them, and I remember walking and thinking like, man, he's gone. Lumley's gone. Mayberry's gone, and like, this can't be real life. This can't be real life. I told all their wives that I'd bring them back alive. And I remember the night that I did that, we were all drunk and we were having fun and whatever. And like, I'm like, I didn't bring them back alive. Like, this fucking sucks.
My favorite, most underrated protein in barbecue is turkey, and you claim that your turkey is going to surprise me even more.
It is. It's going to be good. Lots of different flavoring in our rub. It's not your typical salt, pepper, garlic. It's got some thyme in there, a little bit of heat. I'll put you a little dab.
Yeah.
There you go.
Ooh, that's cool.
Right? It reminds you of Thanksgiving, but not.
It's
different.
That's really different.
Yeah.
It's not even a barbecue rub.
No, it's not. That's the whole point.
And you developed this flavor yourself?
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to see what it's like when it's cooked.
Oh, it's good. We use a standard turkey breast. We use HEBs because they're a little bit smaller. I do take the skin off. Some people leave that skin on, but I'll start down here. 16 mesh black pepper. Gotta have that Texas barbecue no matter what. Coming with our rub, got a little bit of wind. I may get a little bit closer. I mean, that's pretty much it. Yeah. And there you go.
There's no more wind.
There's no more wind. Man, these things are awesome.
All right, I'm more interested in
the tasting
it because I know you're not telling me everything that's in that rub. So
I'm not going to
go home and try to engineer it.
But I will give it to you so you can go home and try to engineer it. I'll give you some. Yeah.
We're like 5 hours in, so these briskets we're going to be able to peek at too, right?
Yeah, look at them bad boys.
Oh.
They're right at that moment where they're really just starting to receive all that smoke.
So you're going to go farthest from the firebox here.
Yeah, I like to get as much, because you know a lot of the time that's where the smoke's going to collect.
Right, so you're going to get it at the collector.
Yeah, mm-hmm. Heck yeah, man. I looked at my company commander, I looked at AJ and I said, sir, I'm sorry. He said, don't be fucking sorry, man. Like, you didn't see the ID. And I said, dude, like, I'm sorry, sir. That's weighed on me my whole life, like the rest of my life. It was rough.
You have to put their bodies on the aircraft in the body bags. And it was at night, so it was dark, thank God. That was fucking terrible.
We knew we were going to do a ramp-up ceremony, like within the next 48 hours, right? And then you got to load them up, right?
From my perspective, and he's right there with me doing this, right? But like, I mean, you can smell them, right? Because they burn up. So you have that smell. Yeah, you don't come back from that stuff. Like, we'll take that kind of stuff with us to our graves.
And the next morning we flew to Bagram Airfield. So I get to the airplane hangar and they said, hey, Mayberry's wife is still here. I'm like, what? And they're like, she's over there and wants to talk to you. And Naomi comes over to me and she's like, Sergeant Rossler, tell me what happened. And I'm like, Naomi, he didn't suffer. They said he was still alive and he was, I was like, so Naomi, he didn't suffer. He instantly. She just fell into my arms. And I just remember like, fuck, Rossler, keep it together.
I know I told him it wasn't his fault, and he told me it wasn't my fault. But he always took care of his guys, and I think that was extremely important for him to focus on them to keep himself mentally healthy there, but also to his detriment. I mean, I worried about him. You know, I think he worried about me. I mean, I worried about all of them.
And Colonel Landis came and said, you're going to have a lot of dragons you're going to have to slay the next couple years of your life and probably the remaining of your life. Don't let those dragons slay you. What a beautiful day it turned out, huh?
I know, right? May I?
Let's do it. They're looking pretty, right?
They are looking pretty. No, we're not caring about temperature now.
No,
we're
no,
gonna
no,
wrap
no.
and put them back on.
Yeah, and they got enough
This is
smoke.
just how much smoke do they get.
Right. All those flavoring open up that you tasted earlier. I'll smash my whole stick of butter.
So we're not doing a compound butter. There's no garlic in
Nope,
here.
nothing fancy. All that seasoning that you had, that's where...
That's gonna do plenty.
Heavy duty foil, but every once in a while, you'll get a little bit of meat that'll nick it, so I try to be gentle enough.
Looks like you're still going for a tight enough wrap that you're avoiding steam.
Right, yep. So there we go. Put that sucker back in there.
Go.
So that, like these ends right here, if you're not careful, that can puncture it, so I'll maybe turn it like that. Another whole stick of butter. Like you said, fattest flavor.
I can't take credit for that. That was Julia Child.
I know.
Guess it doesn't matter which way they're facing now. Just get them
No,
in,
it
right?
doesn't. Just get them back on there.
All right. See you guys in a bit.
So what we have here is my Bronze Star with Valor. But I'm really proud of this because it's got the pictures of my 4 fallen brothers, picture of me when I received it, and then the actual citation. So it's something that every day I look at and I'm like, I wish that they could be here, but I'm gonna live a better life every day for them and live a better life, you know, just because they can't, so.
What emotions are you feeling? Are you proud of the medal?
Honestly, I just wanted our guys back. I would take either, at the time, I would rather me be the one that's dead than my guys.
It's something that reminds you of like the worst day of your life. It's an honor at the same time, but it's like very much a double-edged sword.
Check these briskets out, huh?
Oh, they are pretty.
That bark is set really nice. This is the one that you trimmed.
I'm not embarrassed about that.
Oh, it looks pretty. Those couple scratches that we made, yeah, it's totally fine.
Can't even tell where I scalped it.
Nope.
All right, we'll come back for that one.
Yes, sir. So my dad taught me to use foil, and just like any good son would do the complete opposite. So once I learned about the Aaron Franklin method of the butcher paper, that's all I did forever.
Right.
And as time progressed, I really like the Texas crutch, you know, but we do it tight enough. There's no steaming, nothing like that. We're really trying to wrap it as tight as possible. So
what you're saying is Dad was right all along.
Dad was right all along.
All right, let's wrap it.
Heck yeah. If you want to lay that down there, I've got some tallow.
There we go.
I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna put a little bit, but all this is just pure gold, pure taste. I just love how that fat, like look at all that right there, really rendering down. So,
All right, so tallow on top.
I'm gonna come in here. My first fold, that's gonna be real imperative to making sure everything's tight. I'll always fold it over so it's not hanging off or anything. And then I'm gonna fold it once again. And we're ready to go back on the smoker. Point facing the firebox.
Now yours was a little bigger.
It was. Oh, I can already tell
What do you
it
think?
is.
Yeah,
it's
it
already
looks ready.
Yeah, that, oh yeah, you can
Yeah.
just feel it. Plus, look at the side popping out. Yeah, that sucker's ready.
That's gonna be so peppery.
It is. It's gonna be a nice pop.
Yeah.
The thing too, with us not going too hot, this isn't getting all crusty. You're not getting overly heated elements of that brisket. Real even cook. Alrighty, come in. 4 to 5 hours.
Okay.
You know, we'll get them up to about 203, 205. Some people probe, some people don't probe. At the end of the day, the probe doesn't lie, so we'll probe them.
So we'll probe them.
Yeah.
All right.
So December 3rd happens. And then I actually took leave after that happened. Christmas leave. December 24th, I was in El Paso. I was still dating a girl at the time. The next day, she tells me she wants to break up with me on Christmas Day after losing all my guys. And I'm like, what? Like, are you serious? I basically drank myself into a stupid form. Drive home, pissed off at the world. I get pulled over. The cop's like, hey, you can call somebody to come get you and I'll let you out of this. I'm like, yes, sir, I'm in the military. Please just like, this is not gonna be good.
That was a rule we always had in our house. If you're somewhere where you can't drive home safely, I don't care if it's 3 o'clock in the morning, call me and I'll come. And I did. Given the circumstances, they let him come with me.
Right, so this all happened, that sucked. I never got time to degress, any of that. I drove by the house that I was gonna be renting. I was like, yeah, this is gonna be my room. I punched a hole in the wall like an idiot. Just lost. And this is all 24, 48 hours into being back from Afghanistan. You know, I'm indefinite, so I have to retire in 2020, and we're in 2012. Like, I have 8 more years to go. How the hell am I gonna figure this out? Yeah, it was rough. I had orders to come back to Fort Hood, and the leadership here wasn't that great at the time. I'm like, hey, Sergeant Major, I'm like, I need to go see somebody. I'm like having a really rough time from this deployment. You need to suck it up. Like, you're gonna suck this up. You just suck it up like all of us. And I just remember thinking to myself, man, this is not good. This is not good at all.
PTSD, wrecked a marriage, fucked up my military career and had to leave. Like, that's what happened to me, you know, and he struggled just as much as I did. We all have our own flavor of dysfunction, right? None of us were okay. And I mean, like, I've been sober over 7 years now, like happily remarried, a lot of counseling and a lot of Jesus later. Because we both lived this experience through 2 different perspectives, but we were right there the whole time.
See, I got Piper, my English bulldog, 14-ish. I'd just broken up with this ex of mine. It was me and Piper. I set up a tarp, had a chair, ready to rock and roll, putting that gun in my mouth, like, let's do it. Put Piper away, one of the rooms. Don't know if I shut it, don't know if God had the door open, whatever the case may be. Not a letter, not a nothing. Like, everyone's gonna know I couldn't deal with it. And I'm getting like this, and I'm like, all right, here's now or never. And here comes this dog coming in here, and I hear her grunting, and she puts her paw on me. And I like instantly, holy shit, what am I freaking doing? What am I doing right now? I'm about to freaking blow my brains out for what? And I feel like she was my guardian angel. She stopped me from killing myself. Imagine that, a dog that was locked in a room.
So when you've lost some of your buddies, you've been shot at, what's it like coming back into society?
It's a lot more difficult than people think. You don't need to avoid every pile of trash on the side of the road because it could be an explosive. You're not like always needing to watch over your shoulder, check your surroundings, your exit points. The problem is we continue to do that. It's almost ingrained in us now. I still can drive through town and I'll see a pile of trash on the side of the road. I get cold chills through my body, and I'll go around whatever it is in the road, and I have to like remind myself, like, that's not what I think it is. And so it's just trying to get back and not let it affect how you live your life, how you deal with your family, and how you move forward in what's going on.
It's about that time. Let's check them out.
I'd comment on the color of the foil, but that's kind of irrelevant. Where are we? 157. So
we're there. A little bit further than I like to take them, but I love it because now we know they're done.
Yeah, they're done.
Gonna be good.
You know, a lot of people think they got to cook to 165, but
nope.
That's not what It's not what the government says.
No, that is not what the government says.
All right, so let's pull these and throw them in the warmer.
Yes, sir.
How long we gotta let them rest before we can eat them?
20 minutes.
Okay.
There's a bright spot in the story here, right?
There was, when I got broken up with and all that.
A friend of mine was cutting my hair.
Kristen sat next to that girl cutting hair. Yeah, hey, this is my friend Steven, this is Kristen, okay, cool, whatever. A friend requested her. Fast forward, I was like, hey, beautiful, you have a good day. She writes me back, oh, thank you so much. Now, who are you again? I'm like, oh, fuck. And so I told her who I was, and then at the time my mom had surgery. So me being here at Fort Hood, every weekend I had off. And she was thinking, man, this guy's like coming home all the time. For his mom, he must be a good guy.
So I knew Steven was the one when I managed at a restaurant when we first started dating. I had 3 jobs. And just him talking to me after like a stressful day and how soothing he was and how passionate he was to help take care of his mom and be there. Steven, he's like Santa's Christmas bag. You never know what you're gonna get. He's either really high, he does hardly ever get low. He's bubbly sometimes. He loves to show people a good time. And the people he loves, the things he loves, he's very, very passionate.
So we got pregnant before we got married, and yeah, the rest is kind of history.
So eventually he found somebody.
Yes, he did. Kristen is an absolute joy. I believe that God put her in his path because God knew he needed someone like her. And both my husband and I tease him halfway seriously that he better hang on to her, because if he doesn't, we're going with her. But she's just been his rock and salvation.
Woo! See how they flattened out? Like everything starts to really render.
It's all coming together.
It is.
All right, what do we got?
Perfect.
I'm gonna let you grab, and I get to take these back to the hotel and have dinner tonight.
No, I think we're gonna let those rest 24 hours like we normally do, and then tomorrow at the car show.
The car show, we get to eat them.
Let's do it.
All right, I don't want to wait that long.
I know.
I guess I will.
Yes, sir.
Tell me from a kid's perspective, what's PTSD like?
When I was younger, he was in the Army and his buddies died and stuff. So I feel like every time he came home, he was just a little upset, he was angry. And my mom, he did some bad things, he was dealing with his demons. And my mom told him like, you gotta get it together.
Since I married him so much later in his career, I didn't have to deal with the deployments, but I did deal with the after effects. And I came into our relationship with a lot of hard times that I had been through in my past that I had never really gotten to deal with. And so while he was trying to figure his stuff out, that's the only thing I can do is be a supportive wife. It was hard. He was gone every weekend, you know, and there were some infidelity issues. And so dealing with that, you know, it was hard, because then it's like I had to sit and I had to smile when I'm dying inside. And so it wasn't ever in my card to ever be a quitter. And so I'm like, here I have this person that accepts everything of me from my past. That is so unfair for me to see how potentially of a great man this man can be and to call it quits on him. And so it was a really hard trying to not get mad. Steven would wake up sometimes at night and, you know, you can feel him shaking. I know that you're typically not supposed to wake somebody up, you know, but it would be like I'd stick just a hand of maybe just a warm touch to say, like, somebody's here. Even now, he still sometimes gets stuff that it's like all of a sudden he just wakes up freaking out, and I'm like, it's okay. He still gets triggered by the girls, you know, and of course now I tried to coach them too, because, you know, Dad did go to war, And these are things that you guys are gonna have to see.
So the things that really trigger him is when me and my sister probably just like play fighting and there's crying. When she cries or she gets hurt or she's screaming. But we just tell him we're just play fighting and we're sorry that we kind of triggered him a little bit. And I feel like he's been doing a lot better.
It was obviously they both loved each other, but Stephen's demons were driving them apart.
You know, we started this business as an ultimatum. Finally, the straw that broke it was, what would I want for my girls?
Late 2014 into 15, I'm barbecuing at the time. It was like, dude, you're just getting drunk, passing out. I'm having to go out. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. There wasn't Rossler's Blue Court barbecue yet. And she's like, something caught on fire. I don't know what the hell to do. Like, you need to figure it out. Plus, you're drinking all the time. Our daughter's seeing this. Like, we're gonna leave or you're gonna fix your shit. Eventually went to my leadership and said, hey, I need to get help. Obviously, traumatic brain injury, PTSD, and the depression were horrible. And I had great leadership. It was a memorandum basically stating that I could not drink right now. Like later on, we'll pull this form. And I was able to start kind of pushing forward. And every day, you know, I'd go to my therapy. If I wasn't there, then I was at work. The initial help that I got helped me through keeping Kristen, start the barbecue, doing all of that. But there was still an underlining issue. There was still something just not right. Not so much drinking, but just my thought, my mentality, you know, I was just beating myself up. And so I started seeing this therapist and she was trying to break down these barriers. I wouldn't let her break through. And then one day she had like her uniform hanging up because she was cleaning out her closet. And I'm like, were you in the Army? And she's like, yeah. She was EOD. She was a bomb handler. Badass. I was like, what the hell? Why didn't you say that at first? She's like, well, that doesn't define me, just like the Army doesn't define you. And I was like, all right. That wall went down and I opened up to her and man, she broke down some barriers. She broke the shit out of me. It felt so great because I could finally just say, all right, you can breathe, dude. You can breathe. And she got me about 80% where I felt like it wasn't your fault. And, you know, I still struggle with that 20%. Like, you know, I still struggle with that shit, but I know that like I did everything I possibly could. You can hear all the old cars outside coming in for the car show. Pretty cool.
Showtime. You even wear your sunglasses in the trailer.
That's what I do, man. People don't realize with our TBI and stuff, my eyes are real sensitive. People are always like, dude, you're so arrogant, me. I'm like, bro, you have no idea what I've been through. Like, it just helps the sunlight. Like, I'm not trying to be cooler than what I am because I'm not. I'm just,
I mean, you are
just
pretty,
a dude.
You are pretty cool.
I'm just
though.
a dude, man.
So let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
You had a hard battle with PTSD.
Right.
You're wearing a Lone Star Beer shirt.
Yeah.
Where are you on that journey right now?
It's great. I mean, I'm very cautious on how I drink and what have you. I can drink now in moderation. It's not something that I have to have. You know, I don't need to drink if I, you know, you can ask Kristen. I get so tired at times. She's like, oh, you're not gonna have a drink to chill or whatever, you know? And I was like, nah, I don't need it. It's like time to go to bed.
So this wasn't an alcoholism problem. This was a PTSD problem.
Yeah, it was more so that, you know. Hey, so we got to order a pork belly, right?
All right, let's do it. So we opened the food truck what year?
2022.
Pretty quickly you got recognized as one of the
top 25 new and improved barbecue joints. It was an honor. And then 2 years later, guess where we landed?
Yeah, top 50,
Top
man.
50, yeah.
I'm having trouble paying attention to what you're saying.
I know, I was about to tell you. So one thing we do with our pork belly that I really like is I like to do them the size of a cosmic brownie because it's so retro. It's so like old school, right?
What a great idea.
You know, we cooked these super early. I was up at 1 o'clock, but let me.
Okay,
yeah,
I'm not going to turn that down now. Oh, dude. Raspberry.
With that little bit of chipotle in there. I told you I was going to knock your socks off.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
Rossler's blue cord stands for the infantry blue cord. And it's for our family, it's for my military lineage, and that's who I am.
It is Stephen's sacrifice and all the things that he's done in the military. Sorry, I get super emotional talking about what our branding and what our name represents. And it is an honor for me to be a Rossler. His dad was an amazing person. So on top of the person that Stephen is and his family is, then you add in the blue cord. It's standing and representing all of our men and women that have died, and especially for his guys.
So we're gonna do brisket, we're gonna do turkey.
Let's do turkey.
All right, let's do it.
Look at that stick of butter still down in there.
That's nice. That is pretty. We made it with your crazy rub, and it's really gonna shine through, huh?
Yes, sir. I think you're gonna like it. You got me a slice.
Nice.
I'm gonna pick that in.
All right. Cheers, man.
Cheers.
Oh, that's good. You're right. It tastes like Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. You're really not gonna tell me what's in here.
I made you some rub though. You can take back.
I appreciate that. This is my new favorite turkey.
Mm-hmm. This is bomb.
You're talking about this pretty publicly now, maybe more publicly than you have before.
Mm-hmm.
Why now?
After watching all of your videos, and I think that you tell the story correctly, and I think it's time for other people to see. I hope that this is like one little, like, you know, droplet that creates these big waves, these, you know, these ripples that can let other people know that it's all right to be vulnerable. And if they need to reach out to, whether it's me, go reach out to somebody that they know, reach out to a doctor, therapist, whatever the case may be. It's okay to not be okay. You know what I mean? It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to be okay and not okay at the same time too. I trust you with sharing this piece of me, and I think that you're gonna tell a good story about it.
I'm gonna do my best.
Yeah.
There's a lot of us out there that aren't veterans. What should we walk away with?
Maybe be a little bit more kinder to the veterans out there that have served, that have issues, but also know that whatever traumatic incident you have been through is just as equal as mine, because guess what? You chose a different path than I did. I hope that my story not only helps other veterans, but helps anybody that has some kind of traumatic something that happened. I hope it helps anybody out.
I'm a taste tester. I love my dad's ribs, and I love his turkey.
The ribs and the turkey? What about the brisket?
It's okay.
It's okay. So do you like working in the trailer?
Yes.
What do you like the most about it?
Talking to my parents and just eating the mac and cheese.
If you could only eat one thing that your mom and dad cook, what's it gonna be?
Probably the brisket. It's my favorite.
You're a Texas girl, aren't you?
Yeah.
We're in Texas, we gotta do the brisket.
Yeah, boy.
Oh, that's pretty. It smells crazy.
Do a little bit of a burn in. And then,
Don't forget yourself.
boom,
All right, we ready?
we're ready.
All right, we start with burn in.
Let's do it.
Cheers.
Cheers, buddy.
Good.
See what 24 hours does to it?
The pepper is perfect. A couple of pieces of the lean.
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers.
All right, I can't wait to taste the patty now.
Let's do it. On this show, everybody. Cool
That's
points.
pretty. Cheers, man. That's the bite right there. Nice job, man.
Thank you.
being on the pit, trimming up meats, and when he serves the customers for the first time and they taste that first bite of his brisket or his turkey and they're just blown away, I think that's what lifted him out of that darkness. It was amazing to see, and I was one of those that, when I had the first bite, I was like, oh man, this is amazing. And you could tell the pride is anytime he hears that from anybody. Barbecue definitely saved him, and then thankfully, Kristen, being as strong as she is what helped bring it all together for him.
So you feel like barbecue has helped him?
Yes, a lot. Barbecue and what my papa, his dad, taught him, I feel like it made him more better. It does help him more with his PTSD, and I feel like he feels a lot more comfortable sharing ideas and being more comfortable with other people.
He's found his calling.
From getting the food trailer a couple years, and he's already a Texas Monthly Top 50 barbecue joint, like we're just so happy and proud of like what they've accomplished.
I'm very happy for him that he's found something that he truly enjoys to do that gives him a release from it all.
Last question. What do you want them to say about you when you're gone?
He's a loving and caring asshole. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love to the highest. I'll give you the shirt off my back, but I'm also still an asshole too. And I'm okay. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
You should be. You've earned it. Thank you for doing this, but also thank you for your contribution to my freedom.
Yeah, man. That's what we do. Hell yeah.